they'll be battling hard for that. But really, as I said, Ogart doesn't have to do a huge amount in order to bring that home. He would have been hoping, of course, for the overall title, but that was won quite a while ago by Delano Van Toff, who is not in the upper reaches of the grid. One driver who is and has had a solid weekend so far this year is Noah Dengball, third on the grid. He's had 2 third-place finishes so far this weekend, and that has really propelled him to 7th in the standings. That's about as high as he can go. Rick Cohen, who's 6th in the points, is just a little bit too far away for Dengball to claim that. But it does mean Dengball has jumped Vladislav Ryabov in the standings. Manuel Espirito Santo, he starts 4th on the grid in the MP Motorsport entry. He did not get around to even complete the first lap earlier on today in race 2. He was clouted from behind by one of the Campos Racing drivers. That spun him around and out of the race, damaged his suspension, and ultimately brought out a safety car. 5th on the grid, Maxim Arkanchelski, the Drive X entry, the highest Drive X racer in the field for this race. And so you can see the dark clouds also in the background as we Suleiman Zanfari, he's starting 6th in this race, has a very, very solid weekend, but hasn't really been able to follow it up with the results. He finished 8th earlier on today, finished 21st yesterday after an unfortunate first couple of laps. We see the grid on screen now. Pepe Marti starting from pole position, ahead of Ogart, Dengball, Santo, Arkanchelski, and Zanfari. Then you got Vladislav Ryabov from 7th, then Delano Van Toff 8th. Rick Cohen is going to be getting away 9th, ahead of Oliveira, Garcia, and Malek finishing up row 6. Row 7 is going to be Philippe Jenik, race 2 winner from earlier on today, ahead of Gil Molina. 15th on the grid, Oliver Mitchell. He had actually a very, very positive run earlier on today, ahead of George Kelstrup. Row 9 is going to be Enrique Bordas. He had qualified 13th, has taken a penalty. He'll be starting 17th, just ahead of Miran Pinkasov, who had a very good qualifying and a very good couple of laps today, but then actually fell down the order following a safety car restart, lost him several positions, and he finished outside the points. Noah Abramczyk is going to be starting 19th, ahead of Daniel Malcia, who, to be fair, has had a bit of a weekend to forget. Was pole yesterday, stalled, really did only 1 or 2 laps to test the car, and that was about it. And then this morning, started towards the back, climbed up to 9th, and didn't score any points. Just 1 position outside the point-scoring positions. Georgi Dimitrov is starting 21st in a Drive X School entry, ahead of teammate Brandon Lee Oxley, who had a very positive run today, finished 5th. Then Lola Lovenfoss will be getting away from 23rd on the grid in her Drive X School entry, ahead of Jorge Campos, who finished 25th and last today for the T.O. Martin Motorsport. Emily de Hughes, who will be getting away 25th and last on the grid. Alexander Partashev, 26th for the Campos Racing Team. Campos bookending the grid for this final race of the season. And you can see the dark clouds in the background. The humidity has been pretty solid. It's been hanging around 67 to 75% marker all day. It doesn't necessarily look like as if we'll get rain during this race, but it's not far off. We could at least see the temperature change somewhat in this event, so we need to keep an eye on that. Air temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. A mild day, but not too bad for November. I'm not going to complain. Track temperature is 20 degrees. So we should be able to get some temperature in these tires without even really becoming close to overheating them. I think the challenge will be making the tires last a distance without scrubbing too much off the front tires, particularly if you're in a fight for a position, as this is very much an aerodynamic track. It is a test track for a lot of categories. It is one that can really scrub the front tires significantly if you do happen to be following closely someone from behind. And Pepe Marti leading the way around as they come in towards the end of the back straight. And that was where we saw Rick Cohen take Dengball for 2nd place right on the final lap of race 2 earlier on today. Dengball was running 2nd, made a mistake coming onto the back straight, got some wheels onto the gravel, lost traction, lost a bit of pace, and it just gave Rick Cohen a run to take second position coming into that hard left-hander. Still slightly disappointing from Cohn, who had actually started on pole. Jenik had started from third, jumped up into first, and really fought Cohn to take the win. He starts 13th. He'll be hoping for just as good a start, if not a better start today, actually, to gain more positions. Remember, for this race, top 10 score and also a point for fastest lap. As we come towards the cars, as they line up in their slots on the start-finish straight. The long shot there, you can just see there's the crest of the hill, just comes after the start line. And you can see in the very back of the field, Alexander Partashev is just coming around the final corner. And the final few rows pulling into their slots to get this race underway. And so for the final Spanish Formula 4 race of 2021, the red lights, the 5 red lights will come on. There's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that is 4. We have 5 lights and they go out and we are go, and it is another stall. This time it is Espirito Santo, and his weekend gets worse after crashing out on lap 1. Earlier on today, he's not even got off the grid this time around, but it is a Campos 1-2. Ogart leads from Pepe Marti. And we have Dengbal in third place, Arkanchelski in fourth. And Espirito Santo finally gets away, but the rest of the field is several seconds down the order. They're all exiting turn 3. And Degbal's just coming through into turn... Marti Santos just coming through turn 1 now. But it is Ogard leading. Ryabov's also got ahead of Rick Cohn. Filip Jenik, another fantastic start. He is up to 8th place. He has got ahead of Vanthof, who is now 9th. And that is Zanfari in a fight there with Arkanchelski. As they exit turns 6 and 7, go through. There's quite an open chicane and then a right-hander which takes you onto the back straight. Ogard continues to lead. And as I said, it's for Marti to take second in the championship, he'd have to win, get the fastest lap, and Ogard finished basically 9th below. Well, as it stands, Ogard is very much in the lead, has built up a commanding gap, 9/10 of a second to Pepe Marti, so it doesn't look like he's going to lose second in the championship as it stands now, but it is early in the race, still a long way to go. As we look at Vladislav Ryabov, 6th place on the screen, chasing Zuliman Zanfari, who's pressing Maxim Arkanchelski hard for 4th place, coming through the last couple of corners. Ryabov looks closer to Zanfari than Zanfari does to Arkanchelski as they get underneath each other's rear wing, try to get a draft. Will they come and try and pull out of the slipstream as they come over the crest towards turn 1? Ogard continues to lead. We see Ryabov keeps to the outside line, and Zanfari takes the inside. That holds that line and keeps 5th position for now. It's given Arkanchelski a little bit of a break as we see a battling back in the pack for one of the Theo Martin Motorsport entries. I believe that may have been Garcia with Bordas. And Jill Molina also battling hard with Lucas Malik, taking 14th and 15th positions right in the background. As Ryabov, he's going to try again for Zanfari. He wants to end this season as a high. He has had a few high notes, has Ryabov, but he's also had a lot of relatively anonymous weekends, and he'll be hoping to kind of turn it around, use the experience he's gained this year to kind of push for a positive 2022. Hopefully we will see some of these drivers back from 2022 to continue their progress. Some drivers at the background hopping over the curbs. Well, a lot of rookies this season in the Spanish Formula 4 Championship. And we have one of the Theo Martin Motorsports has pulled off. Looks like a little bit of damage. Front wing is gone. And that is... that actually might be Jorge Campos. And you see Vantoff, he's struggling against Riccone. Riccone's already got past. Vantoff not having a positive weekend, it must be said. He did win race one, but it was a poor qualifying that really led him into that. And Vantoff's actually fallen down. He got a few more, but he's lost a few more positions. He's now down in 13th position. And Ogart setting the fastest lap of this race. If Vantoff, he's not been the most positive weekend, considering how utterly dominant he was in the penultimate round at Jerez. As Alejandro Garcia, we see, is also falling down the order as an issue for him in one of the Campos racing machines. Now looking at Arkanchelski, Sanfari, and Ryabov still battling over 4th, 5th, and 6th. Jenik is just far behind, not too far behind him, only half a second behind Ryabov in 7th place as they pass the stricken Tio Martin Motorsport. And definitely something gone wrong there because his car was actually pointing the wrong way, so maybe spun around. And it is a safety car, so with the length of time it is taking to clear that Tio Martin Motorsport entry, the safety car has been called. I wonder if there's probably further damage compared to what we saw on screen. Maybe a little bit more significant damage to the suspension, which is, yeah, you can see the right front tyre is taking a bit of a battering, and it's difficult to steer. They're going to need a little bit of additional help to get that out of the way. And it is Jorge Campos, the number 18 Tio Martin Motorsport entry. It's been a difficult weekend, it must be said, for Jorge Campos. He finished 22nd yesterday and was 23rd this afternoon. On the stricken green and blue entry. And the marshals working out really how to get rid of the car. Just under 19 minutes plus 1 lap left in this race in this season. Currently, Sebastian Ogart leads from Pepe Marti, Noah Dengball 3rd place. He's at 2/3 this weekend already, 3 out of 3 for third place, would actually be quite a novel result. Maxim Arkanchelski in 4th, Ziliman Zanfari in 5th position. Vladislav Ryabov is in 6th place. Head up Philip Jenik, good start for him from 13th on the grid, now 7th. Guillermo Oliveira is 8th place, Rick Cohn 9th, and George Kelstrup 10th, the final points paying position at the moment. As you see, a pull and a very, very sluggish start for Manuel Espirito Santo, and you can see almost cursing himself inside his cockpit as the car just inched away initially and then just dropped. The revs must have just absolutely dropped through the floor. And caused them to stall. We've had safety cars in all 3 races so far this weekend. Yesterday, in race 1, Vladislav Ryabov had a collision with the barrier when his I believe there was a failure with the rear ring assembly that pitched him into the gravel, and we had a safety car earlier on today following the incident with Manuel Espirito Santo was collected by one of the Campos racing cars, as we see Jorge Campos and Tio Martin Motorsport being winched away, and hopefully this will be a relatively quick restart. It's not going to be this time around. I think they're far too close to the end of the lap to get this going this time around. As they're coming through the end of lap section now, and onto the start-finish straight. And hopefully we'll get the safety car scenario finished very shortly. This does take a little bit of pressure off of the drivers. And we saw yesterday, in yesterday's race, there was definitely quite a bit of tyre wear towards the end of this race, and cars were visibly beginning to slide, which made for actually quite exciting racing, it must be said. As drivers kind of holding on to whatever grip was left, whatever grip was available in those final few laps, and several positional changes. As number 14, Guillermo Oliveira in 8th position, had a bit of an off in race 2 earlier on today. Did continue to finish in 6th place, went wheel to wheel with teammate Brandon Lee Oxley into turn 1, which is brave at the best of times, but Oliveira ran out of road, went onto the runoff area, hit the sausage curb, and actually got launched ever so slightly. Not too much, but enough to cause a little bit of to look as if it caused a little bit of discomfort. Brandon Lee Oxley, by the way, is up to 12th place, which is a good effort considering he started quite low. I think he started 21st or 22nd. Van Dove back up to 11th, just outside the points. He'll be following George Kelstrup, teammate George Kelstrup, as they restart this race, which hopefully will be coming soon. Safety car lights are still on. And on the back straight, only a few corners left. The car has been cleared. Jorge Campos's car has been cleared. So ideally, we should be getting ready to go very, very shortly. And Ogart leading the way ahead of teammate Pepe Marti. It's been a solid year for Sebastian Ogart, his second season in Formula 4, Danish driver. He's taken 4 wins this season and 3 of the podiums. All those podiums are third places. That actually is Alejandro Garcia's car. So there's another part of the circuit. We didn't see this, but another part of the circuit. And I did say Garcia had kind of disappeared. Well, they were clearing his car as well. So not going green this lap around, but hopefully the next lap around, because that is all of the cars that had retired from this race now off the track. And anyway, as I was saying, Sebastian Ogart, he's had a reasonable season, his second year in Formula 4, and reasonably you'd think he probably would be moving on to the next tier, to the next level this time around. I don't think there's anything more he can really gain from another season in Formula 4. As I said, he's won 4 times this year. He's had 3 podiums. He's second in the Spanish Formula 4 Championship. Pepe Marti, who's third in the standings, a pole position today, but is currently running in second place. He's had 2 wins so far this season, but has had 7 podiums. He's finished third on 4 occasions, and he's had 3 second-place finishes. Enrique Bordas, who's 4th in the standings, who's had 2 wins so far this season, and 2 other podiums. It looked as if at the second round in Navarra he might play a much bigger role in the championship, but it just seemed to fade somewhat thereafter and really came back to life after a very good round in Jerez, but has had a bit of a nightmare this time around. He was due to start 13th today, but received a penalty. He started 17th. As we see Jorge Campos' season ending pretty early on the back of a truck, going back towards the paddock. And now the safety car lights are out, and we're about to get going again. That was 7-8 minutes of a safety car period. So hopefully we can have some clean running right to the end of this race. Sebastian Ogart just ahead in the white car with the black nose. His teammate Pepe Marti just behind. Very similar livery, Ogart, and the kind of yellow helmet. He'll be waiting to launch away from his teammate and hopefully solidify a good run. He does go now, but Marty goes with him. Dengball there in third place, but Marty's going to be quite close as they come across the start-finish line. You can't overtake until they start the race. Ogart immediately goes to defend. Marty's still there in second place. Dengball also watching brief, but he's probably a little bit too far behind. He's going to be defending from Markinchelski down in fourth place, but Marty around the outside of turn one to take the lead, and he slides and goes a little bit wide. Ryabov is also getting challenged from Sanfari, and Marty's gone completely off the circuit, and Dengball up into second place. Arkinchelski now third. I think Marty may have fallen down to seventh place in that. And he went for the outside move, completely lost traction, took him onto the runoff area. And Pepe Marty has gone from challenging for the lead to dropping right down the order. He is now seventh place. Ogart leads from Dengball. Arkinchelski in third. Ryabov there in the green machine is fourth. Van Sanfari in fifth, and that is Philippe Jenik up into sixth place, defending from Pepe Marty. Pepe Marty on the outside. They say abandoned now. He switches to the inside as they come round the left-hand corner. Will he retake sixth position? He does. That is one position for Pepe Marty. He is now on a charge, and he is challenging for further points. Now he's got Sanfari ahead in fifth place. Ryabov in fourth. As we see a fight there, that is Riccone and Delina Van Toff. That is over 10th and 11th positions. The final points paying position, and just behind them is Brandon Lee Oxley. And that is Philippe Jenik getting challenged by Oliveira. Kelstrup there as well. Kelstrup around the outside of Oliveira. Now the inside of Oliveira. And Jenik right in the middle as they challenge for three positions. That is over 7th, 8th, and 9th. Oliveira keeps ahead of Kelstrup. Kelstrup keeps to the inside. Will they collide? Oh, they do, but only slightly. A little bit of rubbing from Kelstrup's front left to Oliveira's right rear. That gives Jenik a little bit of a break to escape from the two behind, but Kelstrup is going to keep challenging. He's going to keep chasing, gets right under the rear wing of Oliveira just ahead as they come down and start finish straight to try and get a graph. Gil Molina's had an issue. He's dropped down into 19th position from the midfield. And we're seeing another fight there. That is Kelstrup and Oliveira. Oliveira doing very well to keep that position, but it is allowing Jenik to pull away. And so that is an absolute frantic first lap after the safety car. Now 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Still fighting going on further towards the field. Ogart is out front, but the gap is not significant to Dengball. It's only 0.6 of a second. There is a fight here we see on screen now for third position. It is Arkinchelski and Ryabov in third place. They are split by only 0.3 of a second, and Fowey there in fifth place as well. That's Ogart, that is Dengball, that is Arkinchelski. As we follow him around the right-hander that takes us onto the back straight. Ryabov just a little bit too far behind. It was here earlier on today. We saw errors as drivers coming onto that back straight, got wheels a little bit too far onto the grass, onto the gravel, lost momentum. No one has done it this time around. But we're seeing Vantoff down in 12th place now. He's been taken by Daniel Matzia. Brandon Lee Oxley into the points in 10th position. He is chasing George Kelstrup 9th, Guillermo Oliveira in 8th, Jenik is 7th, Pepe Marty 6th. He's not quite challenging Zanfari, and we see Zanfari going through the picture there in the red and black machine in 5th place, chasing Vladislav Ryabov and Maxim Markinchelski 3rd, 4th, 5th place, less than 1 second covering those three. Dengball 0.7 of a second behind Sebastian Ogart for the lead, but it's not quite close enough to challenge for the lead. Jenik under pressure from Oliveira behind in 7th and 8th place. Kelstrup is there too, but again, not quite close enough. You can see Oliveira is measuring up Philippe Jenik to see what he can do, what he can manage, to see if he can take that position of his Serbian rival. And coming through turn 3, the exit of 3 into 4. Ogart has got a solid lead. He does have Dengball in his mirrors, but it's not so significant a challenge that he needs to worry too much yet. But the pressure is still there. He's not pulling away. Dengball, meanwhile, has got over nearly 1.5 seconds of gap to Arkinchelski down in 3rd place. And the championship, well, the champion, Delano Van Toff, is in the pits. And he has stopped, and it looks as if the MP Motorsport racer and also the rookie champion, of course, looks like his season is ending in the pit lane. He is not retired from a race so far this season. So it'll be a disappointing finish after 21 events if this was how his season ended. But that is Van't in the pits. Ogart leads. Dangball second. The gap out front is 0.8 of a second. Arkanchelski fighting off Ryabov there. Gap is 0.4 of a second. You can see them on screen now in the white and red car. That's Arkanchelski. Then you got Ryabov in the green and black machine, followed by Zanfari. That gap between Ryabov and Zanfari is now out to 0.8 of a second. But Zanfari is managing the gap to Pepe Marti, who's in 6th place. Marti really wanting to reclaim the position. You can see Marti in the white car with the black engine cover. He's chasing the red and black MP Motorsport machine, but is he close enough? He may well be close enough. He pulls out of the slipstream to the inside line. He's going for the middle line into turn 1, and it is enough to get past Zanfari. That is Pepe Marti into 5th position on Zulaiman Zanfari. Very good effort from Marti coming back through the field. 5th position. Was on pole, was running second, but dropped several positions when his attempt to go for the lead actually saw him fall down the order, but he's now going to try and chase after Vladislav Ryabov to go for 4th place. Ryabov, meanwhile, is still chasing Arkanchelski as we see Brandon Lee Oxley and George Kelstrup coming through for 9th and 10th positions. And Bordas just behind them with Matzi in 12th place. It's been a disappointing weekend, it must be said, for Formula de Campagnos cars. They'll be hoping for something, but right now both of them are just on the outside of the points-paying positions. Abramczyk 13th. And the gap between the top 13 is only 10 seconds, so still very, very, very close as we come into the final stages of this race. 4.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Sebastian Ogart continues to lead ahead of Noah Dengball. The gap is 0.9 of a second. Ogart is relatively safe in that position, and he'll be hoping to keep that going for the next couple of laps. Arkanchelski is in 3rd place. He's built 0.7 of a second gap to Vladislav Ryabov. And we see Pepe Marti. Now, Pepe Marti is catching Ryabov there. You see the green and black entries coming through the chicane that was built only about a decade or so ago for the MotoGP machines. Arkanchelski coming through the final corner onto the start-finish straight. He is in 3rd place. He'll be hoping to nail this position. He's had 1 podium so far this season already. That was Ricardo Tomo in Valencia in the 5th round of the season. He'll be hoping to repeat that, if not even better it, but he's a bit far behind to try for that now. Guillermo Oliveira is in 8th place. He's fallen a few tenths of a second behind Philip Jenik, but he is closing up on the straight, but not quite close enough to pressure Jenik into worrying yet. Jenik, meanwhile, is half a second behind Zanfari. He'll be looking to make a move into the top 6 if he can. Round out a very good weekend for Tio Martin Motorsport if he can manage it. But Pepe Marti, we see there in the white and black machine, 5th place. He's really getting close to Ryabov, putting his GRS team rival under pressure. We will now see drivers beginning to struggle a little bit on the Hankook tires. If they push significantly in these laps, they will begin to slide, they will begin to slip. The temperature's cooling. The track temperature now only 19 degrees Celsius. It's getting a little bit difficult to keep those temperature in tires. It's getting difficult to maintain the grip. You will slide a little bit more, and you will continue to wear the tires even more significantly as you continue to push. Ogart continues to lead in the bottom of the screen. Dengball, 2nd place. Arkanchelski on screen now. Ryabov and Pepe Marti are almost very, very close together. Marti scores the fastest lap of the race so far, 1 minute 47.837. That'll get him an extra point. I think the battle for second in the championship is largely out the window now, unless something very, very significant happens. And that is unlikely to happen. But Marti will be, I think, relatively pleased with 3rd in the championship if this is how it ends. And he may actually still have a chance to take Ryabov for 4th in this race. He's very, very close. As they come out of the final corner, you can see Ryabov looking in his mirrors, tracking Marti just behind, but Marti's now right under the rear wing as Ryabov as they come across the start-finish line and down the start-finish straight. You can see the green machine of Ryabov, and just alongside is Marti as he pulls out of the slipstream and takes the inside line and takes the position at his 4th place for Pepe Marti. Another position having fallen down to 7th place just a few moments ago, but it will be difficult for him to get back on the podium. There's only 1.5 minutes plus 1 lap left in this race. The gap between Arkanchelski and Pepe Marti is just bang on 1 second, almost exactly. Sebastian Ogart continues to lead for Noah Dengball. You can hardly see them out front. Such has been their steady run to the end of this race. Ogart heading towards his 5th race win of the season. Noah Dengball heading to his best finish of the season. He's had several podium positions. To them this weekend, of course. Actually, I must correct myself. Dengball did have a 2nd place earlier on this year at Navarra. He's had 1 2nd place finish already, along with 3 3rd place finishes. 2 of them, which has happened this weekend so far. As I rub my hands together, we can see Archangelski's got a 1 second gap to Marty. It's going to be very difficult for Marty to pull that 1 second gap in, press Archangelski for the podium position and pressure him into a win. He may have actually done a little bit of damage to his tyres and all that fighting he has had to do. Half a minute plus 1 lap remaining. We're about 2 laps left in this race, 2 laps left in the 2021 Spanish Formula 4 Championship. Ogart now crossing the line to start his penultimate lap. Then goes Dengball, then goes Archangelski, then goes Pepe Marti, then goes Vladislav Ryabov. Bit of a gap to Zuliman Zanfari in 6th place. Zanfari has Oliveri just behind him. Oliveri in all that action misses actually overtaken Philip Jenik for 7th and 8th position, but Jenik is still there, 6/10 of a second behind Oliveri. George Kelstrup in 9th place. Daniel Mazzia up until 10th. He has taken Brandon Lee Oxley for the final points paying position at the moment. That'll be the only score this weekend for the Formula de Campinos drivers if he can actually manage to get to the checkered flag without losing it. The gap to 11th place, and must say Abnorma Bramchik in the meantime has actually taken Brandon Lee Oxley for 11th and 10th places. Mattia has about 4 seconds to Abramchik, so it's unlikely that Mattia will lose that position. He crosses his fingers and hopes for the best. And we see now Pepe Marti is pressing hard, but Archangelski has, it's still about a second. It's not going to be really enough at this point. And there we saw Zanfari with Oliveira there. That's the fight for 6th and 7th positions. Ogart, now the gap to Dengball is 1.3 seconds. Now, Dengball has fallen back slightly towards Archangelski, and I do wonder maybe if he's pressed a little bit too hard. If he has, it's probably left it a little bit too late to really challenge. And you see, actually, no, Archangelski's really drawn back up to Dengball. Dengball must really be losing significant amount of grips now as we come into this last few sections of this race. It is the final lap. Ogart has a significant lead. It's now 1.5 seconds. Archangelski just 4/10 of a second behind in 3rd place as they come across the start-finish line. He's not quite close enough to get a draft yet, but he may pressurize Dengball into an error, but he's right there. He pulls out to the outside line. Dengball holds a slightly inside line. He's not going to lose the position as they come through the right and then left of turns 1 and 2, and that feeds him onto the long right-hander. That is turn 3. Pepe Marti's right there as well. Ryabov in 6th place. Ryabov in 5th place has fallen back ever so slightly. And Dengball now does seem to be struggling ever so slightly to hold this position. He's losing grip. He's sliding an awful lot more. Archangelski has a lot of more definition in his drive. He's pushing harder, but is not quite close enough to really make the move. The gap between them is 7/8 of a second between 2nd, 3rd place. Archangelski would probably be a little bit more confident to go for Dengball if he didn't have Pepe Marti right in his mirrors on top of him. And it is actually allowed Pepe Marti to close back in and Dengball to pull away slightly, such as the manner in which Archangelski is also defending. Ryabov there in 5th place, Zanfari 6th, Oliveri 7th, Jenik 8th, Kelstrup 9th, Mazzia in 10th place. As we come down the end of the back straight, and still Dengball has enough of a gap just to fend off Archangelski. Archangelski really is fending off Pepe Marti behind. Marti really desperate to get that podium, desperate to claim something back. He started on pole position, then lost the lead right towards the start, and then lost several positions when he went to retake the lead. And Archangelski defending very hard for Mazzia. This has given Dengball's absolute loads of breathing room as they come round the final corner, and Archangelski fighting very hard, weaving across the circuit to try and defend against Marti, but it's not enough for Marti, and the gap as they come across the line, only 1/10 of a second Sebastian Ogart wins the race, almost unseen really, such as the frantic battle behind. Dengbal takes second place, Arkanchelski third, completing the podium. The gap was just 1/10 of a second actually between Arkanchelski and Marty. Rybov comes home fifth, Zanfari sixth, Oliveri seventh, Philip Jenik comes home eighth. Nice way to round up the season for Teo Martin Motorsport. George Kelstrup ninth, and Daniel Matzia 10th place. 1 point for Formula de Campaños. And the man who wins this race and solidifies second in the championship, the Campos Racing driver of Sebastian Ogart, the number 25, the yellow helmet, the white car with the black nose box and black engine cover. Fantastic job by him. 5 wins so far this season and a few podiums. And second place in this race, Noah Dengbal. Fantastic effort and a 5th podium for him to round out a solid season, I think it's fair to say, for the Danish racer. And it'll solidify 7th in the standings too. Now, Enrique Bordas will definitely be 4th in the standings. And Pepe Marti will be 3rd in the standings after this. Rick Cohn, of course, 6th. And Vladislav Ryabov, with that performance, will finish in the points, I think, 8th overall. And the only driver missing really from this race, Delano Van Toff, didn't really feature while he was there and then pulled into the pits after 8 laps to retire, his only retirement so far this season. But it's not about him today. It's about all these other drivers. Van Toff won the championship in the last round. Sebastian Ogart has won today's race 3, solidifies 2nd in the championship. Noah Dengbal, another good drive to the podium. Guillermo Oliveira there, he took 7th position, another solid drive for him to further points. He's got 6th earlier on today. Another solid points all. And really Oliveira's season came alive really in the second half of the season. He had a very good weekend at Motorland Aragon where he scored a podium and a 4th place. Wasn't the greatest races at Ricardo Tormo, but scored some solid points at Jerez and has added to that with more solid points this weekend. As the cars now pulling into Parc Ferme, and we will see the podium finishers pulling into their slots. And Sebastian Ogart pulling into the winning position. Delighted for the Danish racer. He took 2 wins at Motorland and at Algarve. He took 2 wins at Ricardo Tormo. And he's taken 1 win today. He finished 5th in yesterday's race 1, but came home 15th today after starting towards the back of the field. And you see lots of very, very, very happy mechanics. Ogart getting celebrations. You see Dengbal there in the MP Motorsport, his light blue and white overalls. Lots of congratulations around Maxim Arkanchelski as well. His 2nd podium of the season. He had a 3rd place finish at Ricardo Tormo in the 5th round of the season. He'll come in 9th in the standings after all of this. And the provisional classification as it stands, Sebastian Ogart wins ahead of Noah Dengbal, Maxim Arkanchelski 3rd, Pepe Marti 4th in the end. He'll be disappointed with that. Vladislav Rybov 5th ahead of Zanfari. Oliveira was 7th place. Philippe Jenik was 8th. And the rest of the finishers, as they came across the line, a lot of battles in the mid part of the field. There wasn't a great amount of separation. And the 3 non-finishers today, Delano Van Toff, Alejandro Garcia, and Jorge Campos, who had an incident on the opening lap of the race, which kind of stuck him facing the wrong way down the straight on the back straight, and that really necessitated a safety car. As we come now towards the end of this evening, the sun is beginning to dip. It is 4:15 in the evening time in just outside Barcelona, so we'll be getting dark very, very shortly. This has been an absolutely thrilling Spanish Formula 4 Championship season. And the dark clouds that were threatening earlier on really do seem to have dissipated somewhat and maybe moved off into the distance further towards Barcelona. You really see the village of Montmello right in the background if you look further down the hills. And the marshals just sweeping up some of the marbles. And we do have an interview with the race winner. It is Sebastian Ogart, who is down in the paddock, Parc Ferme, with Laura Martin. And hopefully a very, very happy Sebastian.
Championship, vice champion, and yeah, it's a good feeling. What do you expect for the next year? Maybe you will repeat in the championship? I don't know. I don't think I will stay in F4, but we'll see. Okay, good luck, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Not completely unreasonable, actually, Sebastian Ogart. This was his second season in Formula 4 racing. He was in Danish Formula 4 previously. So you see highlights from the race. It was an issue there. That was the off for Tio Martin Motorsport, Jorge Campos into the barrier. And this is where Pepe Marti was challenging for the lead. And he just went wide into turn one, lost grip, and it dropped him down into 7th place and gave Sebastian Ogart free rein to just build a solid gap to Noah Dengball. There was battles in the lower parts of the points between Philippe Jenik, Daniel Matzia was there as well as George Kelstrup and Guillermo Oliveira. Noah Dengball fought hard to keep Noah Abramczyk at bay for quite a while, but it was also Pepe Marti who climbed his way back past Zuliman Sanfari and Vladislav Ryabov to go into 4th place. And as Arkanchelski fought off Marti, it gave Dengball an opportunity to solidify the 2nd place. 3rd and 4th between Arkanchelski and Marti were separated by only 1/10 of a second at the end, but it was Sebastian Ogart who took the win. It must be saying for the most part, with relative ease, kept a reasonable gap of about 1 second to Dengball for the duration. And that really solidified the win for him. So, as we come to a close for the 2021 Spanish Formula 4 Championship, we have seen some absolutely fantastic racing. We've seen Delano Van Toff become champion and take 10 wins so far this season and on his way to the championship. And Sebastian Ogart, with the win today, solidifying 2nd in the championship ahead of the 3rd place overall, who was Pepe Marti. We've had races from Spa, we've had races from Navarra, we've had races from Portimao, we've had races from Motorland Aragon, Ricardo Toma in Valencia, Jerez, and here in Barcelona. It has been absolutely